Hello, hello. Thank you for watching. So I completed another run of this game, trying some other builds and ideas out. And thank you for watching. And this Evans, which we have here, turned out great. Was a challenging run, Underdog, and I was using 2 early units, which I had to level up basically throughout the game. They were with me consistently from the start to finish. But like early units like Faythe and Evans start at level 1. And it's actually easier to play this game like as a solo lone wolf, or just as a duo as I did previously between myself and Faythe, and get like a unit later who joins later at higher level to complement the team. But going through the game with 3 units from the start was more challenging on Underdog, but it was interesting. And let's see, I tried dodge this again, but with blades for crit. It was pretty good. I think SMGs, some guns are better, just because I found that like with ranged guns, you don't have to move around and chase enemies down as much. So you're actually probably doing more damage per round, plus all the reactions. But it was still pretty solid. We took blades instead of blunt here, just because I know blunt is strong. Wanted to go for blade, crit, dodge this kind of thing here. And yeah, you can see this started at 6. I got a spine. Look at my implants again. Yeah, so I had a spine, a motor, and a data jack, and then I took bionic to put the squad leader in, just because I had 2 party members that I wanted to buff. So the spine was overclocked here to get to 8, so I could take heavy hitter and get more penetration on the melee weapons. And then dex, because it started at 7 and was overclocked to get more action points. And lastly, I did put an int implant. I was thinking whether I should overclock it. If I would overclock it, I'd tag crit. But I was doing some speech things throughout, tried to. It would be stronger if you just tag crit and blade it and not worry about speaking, because like we did do quite a bit of speaking though anyways, but like the end game speed checks, they need more. They need like 9s and 10s and good disposition, which I didn't have because I was fighting everyone. And then I got a penalty as questions later. But still, we did quite a bit of everything. I would say like 140-40 split here. And yeah, so bionics, just take the squad leader, and otherwise, yeah, like berserker and stuff. And then the last feat was fast draw. It was just basically very end of the game, for what it's worth. Could have been Master Blaster or like Tough Bastard too, would be good choices, but I just took fast draw here. It's pretty good. Didn't matter much because there was like two fights left anyways. And crit is pretty decent. If you take like Master Blaster and have that end game energy dagger, it would be like at 60. And I think like on certain attacks you get even more crit, like Carve. Yeah, like, so Faythe was different here on this playthrough, because she's usually run as like a skill monkey with a pistol and sometimes a rifle. And I tried her with SMGs, which is a difficult weapon to use. Generally needs more stuff to be effective, and it kind of showed. Like, she was definitely not as powerful as like a main SMG dodge this, tuned to like have like a lot of AP and controlled burst and stuff. But she was fine. She did damage, and Also provided some sneaking, and I wanted to tag electronics on her, but kind of mismanaged the sneaking a bit and didn't want to go back, so I had to tag sneak to get through the stealth missions on this one. But it's alright, I got electronics to 7 on Knurl, the few electronics 7 checks that I needed to pass. Yeah, like educated, she starts with this. Assassin does work well with SMGs because it does give her like what, crit chance and penetration, and since you're doing like burst attacks, SMGs do need like having more penetration, so she does work well because she has Assassin. And then like some second wind, Master Blaster kind of general things, and then we focus on the SMGs with Sprayer. Bionic just to get her an extra implant for strength, so I could improve her defenses somewhat with armored warfare. And yeah, like at the very end, just raising crit a bit more with like critical thinker. And the last thing I took was Skill Monkey. It was like the very end of the game, just to pass some like final loot, get some final loot from Computers 9 and like Lockpick 10. If it wasn't for that, I'd take like Tough Bastard on her or something at this point, just because her HP is pretty low. But she was decent too. Like, I wouldn't say like great, but as a third damage dealer in the party, plus still doing the sneak missions, some science checks. But the best guy turned out to be Evans on this run. Yeah, I usually go like what, pistols or rifles on him because he kind of starts with like a rifle in his hand, but you can build him into like a much better Jedi, I would say. You just tag blunt armor. Once you get educated, you tag like biotech to have it covered, and from there just focus on blunt weapons, and he was very good with this. Like Basher, Heavy Hitter. Heavy Hitter was taken pretty late when I overclocked his spine. Precise Strike to reduce AP on the attacks. But see, he gets one of the special bonus feats he gets at some point in the game. It's like you can choose this one, and it works great. Like AP plus 2 initiative, reaction, just stuff you want. So he was very solid offensively and good defensively as well. And then the last thing I took on him was Fast Draw. You can take Fast Draw probably earlier, maybe before Heavy Hitter, but this is so good just to get the extra penetration going. He was very good. He's running with this big kinetic hammer endgame, plus this mace, and sometimes you can put an energy weapon in here. But he's like capped pretty much on like armor handling. He has like all the heaviest armor and still has enough to spare. And she got armored warfare, but she was using the stealth gadget a lot, so it's not like I built armor on her too much in combat. It was something like she could fall back on too, because her health is low, and in case this thing ran out, that she could take a few hits while still wearing some armor. And yeah, spine not overclocked, this overclocked, and I think this overclocked as well for more accuracy, because like the SMGs do like more accuracy. And yeah, and here we checked it out. I didn't take armored warfare here. I was thinking of that or Tough Bastard, but like I never got around to it because I was just taking offensive things. Like, what was it? After like your standard bladed thing, Butcher, I took like Heavy Hitter and then more offensive talents like Berserker and Fast Draw, just like kill them before they kill you. So no need for armored warfare here or Tough Bastard. Like, because this was the tank. This was the tank, yeah. This was the off DPS utility, and this was the DPS. So, yeah. Anyways, that was an interesting run. Like, the main thing is like with raising 2 early units that start at level 1 through the whole game. It's definitely more challenging that way on Underdog than, say, as I said, going just between your main and Faythe, or main and 1 early unit like Evans or Faythe, and then putting in a later join unit after the mid game here. So yeah, thank you for checking this one out. Little video on like builds in this game, colony ship. You can do a lot of things, but what you don't usually expect or see, again, having him as a blunt specialist instead of a rifler, and her in SMGs instead of pistols or rifle. But you can do that. Since they start at level 1, these 2 units, you can do anything with them. You just tag the weapon you want to use with them and go from there, kind of thing. And I would say it was mainly alright. There were a couple of pretty tough fights though with for this team. I think Cobra, and then which one was it? At the very end, like there was this last fight in Hydroponics Red that I just did with Faythe, and I had to like figure out a strategy there for just these 2 units. It took like 8 tries, but then I cleared that fight. And then the one in the armory where you're going, because I went with Brotherhood here, so when I was fighting Cobra, that one took like 10 tries until I figured out what to do. But otherwise it was fine. Like early on wasn't bad. Like going through the factory was pretty good.
you